Did not disappoint. They always say don't meet your heroes, I think, but I'm very glad that I got to meet him. He was wonderful.
I hear that in a lot of talks, trying to be different, trying to be distinctive with whatever you do. It's becoming more and more important, actually.
The story with Brian Collins saying, keep it fucked up, keep it fucked up. Smiling the whole way through. It was such a fun presentation.
Heart and soul went into the whole event. We definitely will be back next year.
So, Jan, we are back from Lisbon. We just spent a couple of days at the Paradigms Brand Experience Summit from 13th to 14th in Portugal. We joined in. Obviously, we're also working with Frontify, doing an amazing job. And I thought it'd be nice to kind of have a moment to have like a little recap on some of the stuff that we experienced, and maybe have a look at a couple of the talks and discuss them. I also made some notes as well when I was there, which I also shared on LinkedIn. So there was kind of like a little bit more raw and some of my feelings about the experience. But yeah, I mean, how was it for you? First and foremost, it was a very well executed event. I think it was a very impressive lineup of speakers. I mean, very well organized as well. Great venue. I mean, great locations for the evening. Evening, so very also the evening events, were very well done and organized and impressive. Yeah, so it was a great experience overall. Yeah, I mean, I was blown away by the set. I think this is only the second time that they've actually done it. Mm-hmm. But to say that, a few technical hiccups.
Yeah,
but
I mean that happens all the time, right?
Yeah. One of the things that actually I felt was we were full of a room of people who wanted to be there. So I've been to festivals before, and often I feel like, there's a lot of people there for the design, sometimes there with big hangovers as well from the party before. So there's like a lot of kind of different types of people all coming together. Maybe you see one or two talks. But this time it was much smaller, much more intimate, and I feel like everybody was there to listen, to engage, and to see some of these speakers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, there's a whole kind of bag of different types of people from all over the world. Often, I suppose, we're at German events, mostly, I suppose. Sometimes, I mean, I've also been to Barcelona as well, and also to the Off Festival, which was also in Lisbon. But generally, we don't get to see like such international kind of speakers all in one place, and that was pretty cool. We did have some German representation as well from Mutabo. Mutabo was there, which was pretty cool to see. So I mean, was there any speaker that kind of really, not necessarily stood out, because I think all of them were great, but was there anything that resonated with you?
Yeah, I picked actually two talks, which I want to reflect on today, which I liked. And you?
Me? Yeah. As I say, I got to also meet quite a lot of the speakers as well. Again, that was one of the great things about it. Mm. We had breaks in between the talks, and we were all kind of in like a little courtyard area, so we got to meet some peers. You got to meet other people from the industry, and we were all kind of mingling and talking a lot. So yeah, that also helps with a little bit of bias as well. The people you spoke to, you got like a little bit more kind of background, and you felt like you kind of knew them a little bit deeper than the ones that you didn't. But generally, we kind of all got to kind of share like a lot of ideas with each other, not just on stage but off stage, which I think is one of the beauties of such a festival. And yeah, I've got two as well. So there's an accumulation of 4 speakers that I also were that really resonated with me. And I think these were the people that I was most looking forward to seeing, and they did not disappoint either. So, who was yours?
Okay, who was mine? Okay, so I picked out first of all Tom Beckman. He is the global chief creative officer at Weber Chandwick. Weber Chandwick, I don't know, it's like one of super big advertising, creative design kind of agencies. I actually haven't, I mean, it sounds quite familiar, but I've not really heard about them before. But yeah, he was very interesting. His talk was called Eat the Rich. And he basically gave some context on what's happening in marketing. And he actually looked back to the last recession in I think it was 2008, and actually the result of this recession was the whole purpose thing. Yeah, so everyone heard about this buzzword purpose, and that it played a huge role in marketing and also branding the last couple of years. And this has actually its origin in the financial crisis 2008. But now we have another recession, and he said, like, when these kind of events happen, then new things come out, and he doesn't know what it is now, but he just sees there's something happen, and that's why he talked about Eat the Rich. It's basically you see already a trend in TV shows. Yeah, you have like White Lotus, you have Succession, you have the movie The Menu, for example, or the Triangle of Sadness. It's all about the super rich, and actually the contrast between the average people and the super rich people. So there is definitely, he saw definitely some trend around this topic, and he thinks that's where actually the next big trend for marketing and branding will come out, which we will see soon.
He was one of my, I think, surprise speakers. Like, he really blew me away. I think he was incredibly engaging, and I loved it also made me a bit more reflective on maybe how we present sometimes as well, because I just loved how he was really him, I think. Anyway.
Yeah, super cool, super dry.
Very dry, very satirical,
funny,
very funny. I mean, I think one of the first things he said was, you don't have to listen to anything I have to say. You're smart people, make your own mind up. There's many people out there who are a lot cleverer than me, and probably know more about what I'm talking about. And it's just that kind of honesty just makes you even more engaged and want to hear what he has to say. So yeah, I really enjoyed Tom Beckman as well.
So, who did you pick?
Well, a pretty obvious studio favorite. I went with Collins, and Brian Collins was on stage, so I've been waiting to see him for a long time. We'd also had some conversation as well previous because of the channel, and we'd already shared some stuff from a Linktree. They won Brand of the Year on this channel. So super excited to actually get to talk with him, and he did not disappoint. He was like such a wonderful guy. He clocked us at the after show party, where we basically got the food, right? So after the event, we all went to this really cool location, almost like a tropical garden of sorts, and he came over and he was like, Paul, thank you so much for the award, and we just started talking about the industry, and he gave us some really encouraging words. So yeah, did not disappoint. They always say don't meet your heroes, I think. But I'm very glad that I got to meet him. Mm-hmm. He was wonderful. And he was also there with Taamrat Amaize. I didn't know what to expect from her being on stage as well, but my God, she absolutely blew me away. She was breathtaking. So first of all, Brian Collins started introducing the idea of where we're basically going when it comes to. We was talking a lot about adventure and looking to the future, and he compared his childhood and how he, as an American growing up, looked towards the Wild West as kind of this idea of discovery and adventure and journey. And this was a lot of the stories that I've been told. And then at some point when the space race actually started, he flipped, the whole media kind of flipped its interest and went much more towards a vision of the future. And it was just super interesting to hear kind of that, him being part of that kind of translation of how the same stories are being told but in a different context. And from what I understood, this was a lot about how he kind of really got into storytelling and the kind of the expression of taking things from the past and repurposing them for the future, which is what they do at Collins a lot in their work. And taking something from the past and making it surprising for the future, but kind of being deep rooted in something that you believe in, which I think is really, really cool. And Taamrat Amaize, she's the chief strategy officer at Collins. She was just so on point. They went through some cases. One of them was Girl Scouts of America. They broke down all the systems that they used to build this, and she was just like engaging and funny and really held her own. And she was like, for me, one of the highlights when they were speaking. So yeah, Collins, hands down for me, was really, really fantastic.
Rock solid.
Yeah,
I agree.
And you have
I have another
one?
pick. Yeah, I have another pick. So also like a talk where I had not too high expectations on before. It's the two very smart ladies from Scandinavia. Correia and Nanna Bergh from EY Doberman. And their talk was called Friction, Feelings and Fiction. So EI Doberman is, I think it maybe used to be just Doberman, like a very kind of edgy, cool studio from Scandinavia. And then I think they're now somehow have a relation with EY. I think she said something in the talk that that's also where how they can finance like also smaller budget projects.
Oh yeah, because that was asked on stage, wasn't it? How can you do this? And they're like, let's be honest. And then they revealed, of course, there's somebody behind the studio. Yeah,
and their talk was called Friction, Feelings and Fiction. I think the first topic, friction, I think that was not just in their talk. It's basically, I hear that in a lot of talks, it was about trying to be different, trying to be distinctive with whatever you do. It's becoming more and more important actually with in marketing and branding that there's a lot of sameness out there at the moment, and as that's also connects with Brian Collins saying, look, you need to have something from the past to connect past and future together, but then do something different. Be fucked up, or just not too clean and too perfect, and I think that's where this friction comes from.
That was also a highlight that I forgot to mention, like the story with Brian Collins saying, keep it fucked up, keep it fucked up. This was a talk that he was having with some of the team back at the studio and presenting some of the work, and him reiterating keep it fucked up. And I thought I really took that away, and it's kind of hopefully going to become part of our vocabulary somewhat moving forward. But that was really cool.
Yeah, and that was again an overall topic in pretty much every talk, kind of. And then the second was feelings. So it was friction, feelings, and fiction. So feelings, I think, that just showed some cases. I think they're really good in telling really simple stories and show images and sound and music together, and just create great emotions with that. I think they did a really good job on this. And then the whole fiction thing was super interesting. They did a little exercise with actually the whole audience, where they asked them to close their eyes and basically do a journey through past, present, and future. And they actually then asked, okay, how do most of you saw the future? And most of the people had a more negative vision of the future. And then they asked, okay, but just think about if the future is actually positive, like how could this look like, And I really like this this view that you have to envision a positive future to actually also have something to strive to, and your own vision needs to be positive to do great things. And I think the whole audience was emotionally touched by this exercise. So
yeah, I think that was like an incredible moment as well, because it was so personal. And I actually spoke with them afterwards, and I said thank you, and I talked a little bit about my experience whilst closing my eyes as well. And she actually said that she was really nervous. She'd never done it before. She didn't know if it was going to work or not, and I hope lots of people went and told her that it was amazing. And
yeah, you were definitely not the only one.
But I mean, I felt very compelled just to go over and say, hey, thank you, because it was quite the experience.
Yeah, that was my second pick.
All right, then my next pick was kind of like a duo. I knew this was going to be good, but it again blew me away. The dynamism between the two people on stage was incredible. They've been friends for years. They've worked together for a very long time. That's Lisa Smith from JKR and Rapha Abreu from Coca-Cola. So Rapha is the Vice President of Design, and Lisa is the Executive Creative Director for like the global design there. And I think she's had a bit of a hiatus. I don't think she's been on stage for a while. I read something on LinkedIn, but if that's true, she came back incredibly strong. What a woman, very, very engaging and powerful, and a great storyteller. And Rapha, very cool, very composed, and also a great storyteller. We first were introduced to kind of their relationship, how they know each other, and then we jumped into Coca-Cola. So I think Rapha was first, and we talked about this kind of reinvention of the Coca-Cola logo in a way. This kind of wraparound logo that they developed, which is kind of like a hug. All the exciting and emotional kind of things happen within this space. It's almost like the Coca-Cola logo is wrapped around the bottle, but then taken and put into different places. And I thought that was really cool and really well executed as well. Such a simple idea. But one of the things that I really liked, I also talked to him as well after. I asked him, why Coca-Cola? Why would you want to, go on this journey with them? And, he also said that Coca-Cola is an important company for many people, and there's a huge legacy there as well. And he has a lot of kind of creative freedom to build not just Coca-Cola, but all of the brands associated with it up and kind of reinvent them. And that's a really, really exciting time to kind of bring all of these products into today and into the future as well. So looking at design systems and where things go there. So that was super cool. Really, really nice guy. And then for me, like the Fanta rebrand I loved it. Like I was up on my seat. I had goosebumps. I was smiling the whole way through. It was such a fun presentation. We'd had like a lot of talks before, great, but there was a lot of talking, but this was just like fun packed and actually back to just kind of an honesty and roots design, like real craftsmanship. A lot of other stuff was looking at esports and also, like the future visions of brands and diving into kind of different worlds and metaverse and cozy web and all this. Super interesting. But this was like a little, as a designer, like this little shining light, which was like, wow, cool. So those two together and what they did was the way that they presented and the work, amazing.
Yeah. And it's also great to see that that there can be like so long relations between an agency and a client, because nowadays, it's like very project based, and then, everything is okay. If you don't do it, then someone else will do it, and pitch here, pitch there. But they have like a decade long relation already, and have, worked on very, very big projects together. And you can see the results as,
Yeah. That definitely made me smile as well. Like the fact that they want to work together consistently and not just project to project. So the role of agency with a company like this is to constantly have a conversation, constantly be working on where they can go and how they can do things. So that connection is super important in building like long-term relationships and being able to circumnavigate bigger projects when they come in, because you're already there, you're already in it, you're prepared, you're ready to go, you're there from the beginning, you're there from before the beginning, instead of like being onboarded, briefed, and then, you know, once you're done, signing off and waiting for the next thing. So that was really cool to hear and to see. Yeah, those are all the kind of takeaways from the conference when it comes to the talks that really resonated. There was a lot of other stuff. There were some great people there as well that we can't really go into and mention, but we'll leave a link in the description below, so you can also check out other people that were there as well. I also made some notes, and I just wanted to kind of just throw some like thoughts as well. Some of the things that I wrote as well that resonated with me from a lot of the other speakers was the idea of breaking down barriers, also thinking about like looking at the heart and the soul of brand, really kind of leading with that as well. Always be sure to ask the questions, what if? There was also this kind of message of being a courageous leader as well. So keep believing in what you're doing and pushing forward. Another terminology that I really liked. So authenticity is not my favorite word. I try to avoid it at all costs, but it seemed like it was on vogue because it was used constantly, and it kind of seemed to fit in a way with what people were trying to say. And this idea of authenticity is your cultural currency. I thought that was also really cool. And one big takeaway that we talked about as well, which we kind of a little bit of an aha moment that we want to bring into our everyday, is to ask in the strategy phase as well, and probably throughout the whole project, who are you fighting for? We talked about this. We often, we look at the why. That's always been a very important driver when we're trying to figure out like purpose for a brand. But this was something that really resonated with us, so that was also pretty cool.
We definitely will be back next year.
Yeah.
Big thanks to Frontify for putting this effort into this event, and you could see that there's a lot of heart and soul went into the whole event.
Yeah.
Like all the people involved, and again, great execution. For us, it's we definitely come back because they really brought the whole kind of branding family together, right? And I don't think there's any other event which is really like so focused on this community. So we felt very comfortable, and that's like the place where we belong, and that's why we come back next year.
Yeah, I mean, thank you to Roger and Roger Dudler, who's the CEO and founder of Frontify. I think you really we took care of us, you looked after us, and everybody else from Frontify. We feel like you were hanging out with friends. They really looked after us. Incredible experience, and if you get the chance, if you get an invite or the festival grows a little bit, please go check it out. It's a wonderful experience, and we will be there again
for sure
next year. All right, I think that kind of wraps our little chat up. Thank you very much, Jan.
Oh, you're welcome.
Good to be back. Let's take some of those thoughts, let's put them in action, and let's move forward into the next chapter with some of those golden nuggets of knowledge, and try and apply them to our everyday.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, thank you.